Hey everyone. So, as I'm pretty sure all of you guys noticed, for week 4 we had to do a Lexis and Westlaw comparison. And so here's mine. So I'm going to begin in Westlaw. I decided to research something very simple, the elements of battery, but I decided to do mine in the state of New York. So I go up to the top to jurisdiction and I select New York and then save. Then in the research tab, I typed in elements within the same paragraph as battery. And then we're going to research that. And it comes up at the top with, I guess, the most cited case. What are the elements of civil battery? But I don't want to know the elements of civil battery. I just want to know the elements of battery, period. Not necessarily civil or criminal. And so it comes up with a number of 510 cases, which is not very specific. It's pretty broad, but I decided to just, for the purposes of this, click on the first video. The first case. And as we see by this yellow flag, it has some negative treatment. But in the beginning, we have our West head notes. And if we scroll down to number 2, it says the elements of battery are bodily contact made with intent and offensive in nature. Also in the opinion on page 364, and I know that by the asterisk in the green number 364, so anything that follows after is going to be on that page number. So on page 364, it begins by saying that the elements of battery are bodily contact made with intent and offensive in nature. So in this case, we see that there are different other cited cases and statutes that we can also reference, and that this opinion or this case or court has also referenced to come up with a decision. At the top, it gives us a history, citing references either through cases or orders, different documents or secondary sources. We can also put this in a folder to save if we wanted to save, and if we wanted to reference back to this case, we can put it in a folder so that way it's easier for us to come back and find the elements of battery. I like the fact that you can also highlight as well. I'm going to highlight the elements of battery here. You can add a highlight to it, and you can also add a note. Save that note, and it's going to be stuck right here each and every time I pull up this case, I believe. So let's try. So I went back, clicked on the case again. Yes, here's my note. Here's my highlighted elements of battery. Now, if we go to Lexis Uni, I want to find that same information, elements of battery, but in a different database, Lexis Uni. So what I've learned so far from using this, because I've never used this before, I go to cases because that's what I'm interested in. The jurisdiction is state law because I want to look up the elements of battery in New York. So I decided to type in New York, and of course it pops up here. And then I just put in my terms. That's one neat thing about Lexis Uni. I don't have to necessarily put in terms and connectors. I can just put terms, even though you can put in connectors, but it also kind of generates, I believe, generates connectors for you. So you don't necessarily have to put them in yourself. So I decided to just put in the terms element and then battery, and I want to click search. And it comes up with 5,595 cases, which is pretty broad. So I guess putting in the elements, or the connector. So let's try putting in the same connector within the same paragraph of battery and see if we get a more narrow number. Of course, we did 798 cases. But the first case that pops up has some negative treatment, or possible negative treatment. In the second case that comes up, it has citation information that is available. In a lot of these cases, well, here's one that has some positive treatment. But anywho, I like how it gives you the timeline for most recent cases to less. It gives you a publication status. So if you want unreported publications for whatever reason, or reported cases, it gives you the most cited cases, and of course you would like those because most courts use these to help in determining a result or a conclusion. So let's look at this first case. In the first case, we have some court terms. We have the case summary and overview. Then we have the Lexis head notes, just as the Westlaw head notes. We see here under assault and battery and elements of battery, we have our term that we use, battery, is highlighted. And so it says to establish a battery, however, it need only to be shown that the defendant made bodily contact with the plaintiff and that the contact was either offensive in nature or without his or her consent. Now, if we go back to our first search, the first case, we see that there's no negative treatment in this case. Again, it comes up with core terms, a case summary, and the Lexis head notes. We scroll down to assault and battery and elements of battery. Again, we see that our term is highlighted. To recover damages for battery, a plaintiff must prove that there was bodily contact made with intent and offensive in nature. And we see that same definition, or that same element, is found here in Westlaw. Elements of battery, bodily contact made with intent and offensive in nature. Another comparison between Lexis and lower Lexis Uni and Westlaw is that you can also highlight and you can add annotations. And boom, we have elements of battery. I see it kind of got rid of my highlighting and added a dashed line, but we still have our annotation. Then we have the summary, and then of course we have the opinion. We have the concurred by. Not gonna let me click on it. Okay. Then we have our dissent. Then the dissent, I believe it also gives the elements of battery here. The elements of battery, again, are bodily contact made with intent and offensive in nature. And again, this is on page 942 because it comes before the asterisk in number 943. Okay, so this is my little comparison of Lexis Uni and Westlaw. Like I said, I've never used Lexis Uni or Lexis before, but I think I am going to enjoy this database. And so, yes, that's all. Thanks.